guys, so it's me Alexis. Welcome back to my astrology channel, and today I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a full moon horoscope for the full moon in Aquarius that's coming up on the 15th. Now, if you're a Taurus, sun or rising, especially rising, this is going to be your video. This is basically going to be an astrology video and a tarot video, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about what's going on for you astrologically, and then I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a reading. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get down to this. So Taurus, for this full moon Aquarius, it's going to be happening between your 10th house and your 4th house. Leo is ruling your 4th house, and then Aquarius is ruling your 10th house. By the way, if you guys don't know yet, I am using whole signs, so please go ahead and if you guys want to take this reading seriously, go ahead and use whole signs for this. So like I said earlier in my previous video, the sun and Venus are going to be so closely conjunct on this full moon. Like, they're literally going to be right on top of each other. They're like buddy-buddy right now. And both of them are going to be opposing the moon, which is going to be in your 10th house. So, I mean, that's how you can tell if it's a full moon. If you see the sun and the moon opposing in, when it comes to transits, yeah, that's a full moon. So, with this all going on, with the sun and Venus being in your 4th house, I mean, lately, for you, you've been trying to be grounded. The 4th house is the house of family, it's the house of upbringing, it's it's your roots. And lately, you've been paying a lot of attention to that. Lately, you've been trying to plant your feet on the ground, make your home in such a way where it's a true reflection of you. Lately, you've been focusing on the home. Now, with the moon opposing your sun and Venus, with this full moon, I kind of think this full moon in particular is kind of like a little relationship reminder. And for you, that's going to be it's going to remind you that hey, it's important to stay at home, it's important to have a safe space, it's important for you to have a good relationship with your living space and the people that you have in that living space. That could be your parents, it could be your lover, whoever your housemates are. However, the full moon is going to be in your 10th house, and with the 10th house is the house of career, it's the house of your life goals, your life's purpose. This is you in the world. That is the 10th house. And this full moon is kind of reminding you hey, it's cool that you're trying to connect with yourself and with other people in your home situation, but hey, your career is also a thing. Paying attention to your living space shouldn't be exclusive, and it shouldn't have you forget that hey, you have a career, or hey, you have dreams, or hey, you have aspirations. And I think this full moon is going to remind you of that. So there's that to consider. And then Saturn is going to be transiting your 9th house. It's already in your 9th house. And the 9th house is the house of your worldview. If you're in college, the 9th house is college. I think of philosophies and beliefs and religion when it comes to the 9th house. Basically, to kind of put the 9th house in a nutshell, I kind of think of the 9th house as your worldly perspective. And that worldly perspective can kind of contribute to your 10th house, which is your role in the world. So with Saturn in your 9th house right now, Saturn is kind of the owner of your 10th house right now, because your 10th house is ruled by Aquarius, and then Saturn rules over Aquarius. So Saturn is the lord of your 10th house. So technically, Saturn, Saturn kind of has rights to your 10th house. And since there's stuff going on in your 10th house, Saturn in your 9th house, or transit in your 9th house, is gonna look and be oh, look, there's something going on here. Let's be affected. So, the reason why I want to bring up Saturn is because, one question you're asking me is kind of well, there's a lot of stuff going on at home right now. Do I really need to exclusively, or also focus on my career and my goals right now? And the answer for you is yes. And the reason why is because with Saturn in the 9th house, lately Saturn in the 9th has been shaping you and trying to help you, create a worldview of the world. And with Capricorn being in your 9th house, you want to shape a worldly view that is practical, responsible, and mature. And that can really contribute to how you're gonna go into your, you know, career, because part of like knowing your role in the world is also knowing like what the world actually is. And because of that, like the full moon is calling you to be like, hey, you know, it's cool that you're staying home, like it's okay that you're taking a chill day in the house, but hey, the world actually exists and you gotta, you know, at least think about it. So yeah, so that's the little astrological bit. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of give you guys a tarot reading. So ideally, this reading is supposed to be like 3 little things that you gotta know for the full moon, or things that are going to happen to you during the full moon. So yeah, it's kind of like a little 3-card reading. I think another way to think about this this full moon is that, you know, you can think of it in a relationship context, so like family members or people that you're living with. Like, it's important to connect with them, but like also realize that, you know, there's other people in the world. Like, it's not just your family. So if you feel like you've been forced to kind of like really focus on home matters, especially with family members, like this is your time for you to kind of break out and kind of like, you know, go out into the world. Literally, the 10th house is the world. So yeah, let me go ahead and finish shuffling. Let's see. Okay. Yep, that's your reading. So I got the Star in reverse, 4 of Wands reversed, Queen of Swords. Now, let's get into this. This happened for the Aries reading too, where I talked about it astrologically, and then I did the tarot reading, and it ended up being like, you know, pretty much a repeat of what's going on, so I don't know. Okay, Taurus, here's what's going on. You got the Star in reverse, and then you got the 4 of Wands. I wouldn't be surprised right now if, like, you know, there's some beef going on in your home, or there's some beef going on with your family members, and it's really driving you nuts. Like, with the 4 of Wands, like, upright, it shows people having a great time. You know, people really just, you know, having a great time. It looks like they're at a beach, they're having a great time. However, when it's reversed, I think of, you know, conflict. I think of, you know, conflict between you and some other people. For you, I wouldn't be surprised if it was your family, because hello, it's going on in your 4th house. And there is an emphasis on relationships because your sun is conjunct to Venus in Leo. And I would also say that I wouldn't be surprised if your relationships with your family or your, you know, living mates aren't going so hot. Maybe because, you know, you're trying to, you know, be yourself in your living space and they're not quite used to that, or they don't want that. And then we got the Star reversed, and usually when I see the Star, when it's upright, I think of a person with like a 1-track mind, 1-track heart. Like, I think that's from Marina the Diamonds. But whenever I see the Star in reverse though, like, this is somebody who seems as if like they've kind of been straying away, or they kind of feel lost, or kind of, you know, disoriented when it comes to their inspirations or their goals. Because if you look at the Star upright, like, this person is very inspired. They're like, you know, they have a goal, they're really inspired and they're ready to go at it, but it's reversed for you. And as of right now, it kind of feels as if like your path to, you know, your career or what you want to do right now with your life, it just doesn't seem very unified, or you just don't really have the gas or the fuel right now to really go at it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's because, you know, there's some home things going on. So there's that. And it's really important that, you know, you pay attention to this, because a lot of this is about, you know, with the Queen of Swords, a lot of this is about your mental power. When I think of the Queen of Swords, I think of a person who is, you know, they're starting, I mean, they have their, you know, sense of power already, but like with the Queen of Swords, it's a bit more withdrawn, it's a bit more, not calculative, but more reserved. And for you, like when it comes to you and your career and you as a person, like you are trying to, you know, embody this energy. You're trying to maintain your power and to at least, you know, have your skill set like ready to go. However, it's been hard to kind of refine your skills or to at least, you know, really think about, you know, what you can do for yourself whenever there's beef at home and that beef at that home is not really, you know, inspiring you. So you do have great goals and you're really destined to do great things, but like at the same time, it's just like, you know, there's like some drama going on right now that is really holding you back. And because you're being held back, you're not really getting the inspiration that you need. And you gotta have that inspiration, because if you want to be the best person you can be, at your best, you can be the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is, you know, she knows how to say her words, she's powerful, and she knows that she's powerful. And, you know, maybe you have to know that for yourself. So, yeah, that's pretty much my reading for you, Taurus. Again, this applies if you're a Taurus sun or a rising, and this is going to be your full moon horoscope for August 15th. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it all resonates, and yeah, I'll go ahead and do the next video.